While I was watching back the recording I just did, I noticed how you went super fast through all these concepts. So this isn't meant for the beginner trader. But if you guys want to learn all these concepts I am teaching right now, just hit the subscribe button, follow my Instagram, follow my TikTok. I'm making videos every day, trying to help the fellas out, especially when this market is going into pretty much recession. Pretty certain we are. You guys got to learn how to take shorts and how to trade with throughout the day because you're not going to make money just investing in this market straight up. This is how I made 7K this week, even when the market dumped fucking 15%. I'm gonna show you boys how I did it. And if you guys have any questions, want to do it yourself, hit me up. I'm here to help you guys out. All right. What's up, guys? We're gonna do a trade recap of the week. We ended up taking 4 trades. We didn't trade on Wednesday because there's a massive buy, and this was Wednesday. Not trade on Wednesday, but I'm just gonna go through everything we did through Monday through Friday. Bop, bam. All right. On Monday, we took ES longs. It was a beautiful setup. We loved it. On market open, we see a massive dump, but then we see a retrace back upwards. We see on the 5 minute, see a change in state of delivery. We also see a 5 minute fair value gap be tested, and we see it respected, and it goes bullish, and it breaks us high on ES and NQ, not on NQ, but on ES. And we see some sideways movement. But then if we scroll in on ES right here on the 1 minute, right? This was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We're in a clear uptrend here. You can clearly tell we're going upwards. And then we see this SMT here. We see this liquidity sweep, and we see the inverse fair value gap on ES. And on NQ, I'll show you this right here. Yep, beautiful SMT. Took the buy, took it a 1 to 2, targeted the tops over here. Super beautiful buy. Taking this fucking any day of the week. This was amazing. And then on Tuesday, we tried to take ES shorts. We ended up taking a loss today. Um, so our only losing day was on Tuesday. It was pretty choppy Tuesday. You can see here, there's fake outs everywhere, wicks up and down, literally. But yes, I thought we were going to target all this liquidity as we did here. We saw that. But after market opened, I thought today was just going to be one of those days where we just start selling, right? So you can see here and here we see fair value gaps be respected after market opens a big bearish candle. We also see an SMT that's we can see on NQ as well, right here. So we see this SMT. I thought we were just going to target this low resistance liquidity. Or we're just going to go straight down, but we ended up just smashing through my stop loss, which is fine. I like this trade a lot. Pretty confident in this trade normally. Um, yeah, but it's a small loss. It's part of the journey, but we ended up making a shit ton of money this week, so I'm not depressed about this at all. On Wednesday, I didn't take a trade because after market open, we just pumped up. We barely swept this low, and that was good, right? We got liquidity sweep here, no candle close below. This is pretty bullish sign normally, and there's a lot of liquidity up here in this inverse fair value gap. That being said, I didn't see an SMT or anything, but we did see a lot of buyers, but I don't think many people expected to see this many buyers in the market, especially after dumping all week. So I ended up not taking a trade. I didn't really find a place where I'd like to enter. And then just after seeing these two massive candles upwards, I decided I'm just going to hop off today and kind of scared to enter. So if I wasn't confident with any entries, why take them? Got to be a sniper, not a machine gun. Fine with that. Market never leaves me. I'll be there tomorrow, which it was. So we're going to zoom over to Thursday. Okay. On Thursday, we ended up taking 2 trades. One of them was a small loss, and the other one was fat fucking win. Printed money. But yeah, I'm gonna delete this. So I'm just gonna go over kind of what we saw here. Um, that was my trade. So here we're looking at NQ. I took the trade on NQ. This right here. Beautiful. So we see on the 5 minute. See on the 5 minute, we were clearly in a bearish mindset, right? You can see this, and then we look on the 15 minute. You can clearly tell we're going downward. This is a clear downtrend. After all the news and recent price action, I assumed we were just going to sell for the rest of the day. So I was pretty set on just taking the sells. And then especially on this hourly, I saw this wick being formed while I was about to take this trade, and I knew we were just going to hit low of day. So zoom down to the 5 minute. Um, Zoom down to the 5 minute. I took a loss here, and it was my mistake. I saw this liquidity sweep right here, right? Saw all this orders getting filled. I kind of just figured we should head straight down to here to take out all of this low resting liquidity. Just because when the sellers step in, usually sellers step in pretty fast. So I like this trade right here, but I didn't wait for a close liquidity sweep. If this was the liquidity sweep that got me, I was the liquidity. But this was my original trade, right? I ended up getting stopped out pretty fast. But after that, after this wick came in place, I knew we were just gonna end up selling for the rest of the day. Right? Same thing on ES. ES had a beautiful entry actually. But I took the straight on NQ. So after this, I entered on this right here. Even though NQ didn't inverse it completely, that fair value gap, ES did a better job right here, right? And I just knew after this liquidity sweep, we would have a bunch of sellers stepping in. So I took the same exact trade. I just targeted the same exact spot. Probably could have held a little bit longer, but after taking a loss, I didn't want to be too greedy for the day. So I just took 3 to 1, making back pretty much 2x of what my loss was, which is profitability. But here we see this inverse fair value gap originally get disrespected, and we saw sellers come in, and then sellers got disrespected by liquidity sweep. But since the sellers are already there, they're probably still looking to sell. Saw my second entry, took the entry, wrote it all the way down to these lows. This is a beautiful trade, absolutely textbook. And just as the trade was going on after this 5 minute candle closed, I knew it was hitting take profit. There's no way. Yeah, so this was a beautiful trade. I'm taking this pretty much every day of the. And then today on Friday, I waited for later in the day to take trades just because there was a bunch of news. That's why you can see it was a little choppy in the morning. So I waited later in the day to take a trade. I ended up taking this one on Dow Jones. Fucking, this trade was beautiful as well. If we look at the 5 minute first, but you can already tell we're in a bearish. And after this is after all the tariff news, we knew we were going to sell for the rest of the day. But we see a solid retrace here. We kind of see a hit this zone right here as a bunch of sellers, right? They call this supply and demand. I don't really trade supply and demand, but it's still helpful to know that this is where sellers are waiting right up here, right where these wicks are. So we see sellers respect that. And we also see us continue this downtrend over here. And then on the 5 minute, we see this wick respect this 5 minute fair value gap right here. So this right here just says, all right, we're expecting downwards order flow. When we scroll into the 1 minute right here, we see an SMT, which was against, we see this SMT right here, where NQ and ES didn't break these lows, or ES, but Dow Jones did. So that gave me extra confirmation to take this trade on Dow Jones. Here we go. And then once this inverse value gap was put in place, I took my take profit, which I was going to take out these lows, but I just kind of want to take it early. And I ended up putting it at the worst spot possible because it edged my take profit by 1 tick multiple times. Then we ended up smashing through it. This was a beautiful trade. Absolutely textbook. Absolutely textbook. Just following the trend. I mean, market's going down, but all you got to do is buy shorts. Easy as that. And then later in the day, I just came by. I heavily de-risked myself on this trade because I already took a win today. So why would I keep doing that? But this trade is just so beautiful. We see a bunch of sellers get stopped out. I'm just gonna move this. You see a bunch of sellers get stopped out right here. We're still respecting this massive fair value gap, right? So we're still respecting this. We see sellers take place within our volume. I risked about probably a fourth of what I would normally risk on this trade just because I already took a win. But this trade setup was just so beautiful. But yep, we're going up, up, and up. And we know on the higher time frame we're going down. So the entire time I was just waiting for a time to get a better place to sell, right? And after this 5 minute candle was formed, it was a massive wick, still respecting this 5 minute fair value gap. Also taking out all these sellers right here. I knew we were just going to sell after that candle close. This inverse fair value gap just gave me confirmation. I had a tighter stop loss. Normally, I like to put my stop loss above the high, but just knowing that there's a bunch of sellers in this market, it's at the end of the day, everyone's just going to sell all their stuff. Everyone's just selling. So we took this right here as a solid risk to reward, something like this. But this was definitely the smallest trade I've took for the week. All right, I just want to say thank you guys for whoever watched all of this. Thank you guys for entertaining my rambling about the markets. Uh, just hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, hit anything. Trying to grow a community, trying to get a free Discord out for you guys. I just need big enough following so I can help everyone out. Just trying to build a community and build a following. I've been trading for a while now. I finally want to get my name out there. Thank you guys. See ya.